Hey, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the movie The Predator. Now this is the fourth film in the overall Predator film series. As you can see, this is the original Predator that I have right here, which had Arnold in it. This is still one of my favorite films too. But of course we all know the fate of the sequels, they weren't as good as the original one. Even the Versus film where they face off with the aliens and stuff. Those weren't too great. But they were pretty decent films. But anyway, this is the fourth film in the series, and it is connected to the overall film series in general. And there's a lot of references to the original 1987 film Predator. There's a lot of references to that film, which I think were pretty cool. How they give little touches on this is spoiler alert. They actually touch on the Predator from the first film a lot. That particular alien. They actually kind of make references to that one a lot. And so on, and it's connections to this. Also even Easter eggs kind of towards the end of the film, which kind of deal with that, that particular Predator film as well. But overall, this film is actually about this young boy who somehow comes across this I think it's the helmet, he gets the actual Predator mask, and actually while he's messing with it, it actually sends a signal to the predators, and that's why they return to Earth, because it is documented in the film that they already had made a couple of trips to Earth in 1987, plus in 1997, which was part two. So they actually returned to Earth, in pursuit of this boy actually triggering them to come back, And of course, we're going into it too much, to kind of spoil overall what the film itself is about. Now, this is directed by Shane Black. It stars Boy Holbrook, Trevante Rose, Jacob Tremblay, Thomas Jane, and so on. Now, I guess you could see the character played by Sterling K. Brown. His character known as Will, I think Traeger. I guess you could say he's kind of the antagonist of the film, the villain of the film, because he is kind of harsh and ruthless, So I guess you could say he is the villain of the film, And he's actually after the predators themselves. He needs help fighting them, but he's actually after them too as well, the technology and so on. If I go into it too much, it kind of spoils the film itself. It's more than about a boy triggering the aliens, the predators themselves to return to Earth. It's actually more than that. Now the film itself, I think the chemistry between the actors, I thought was pretty good. I'm not going to touch on all of them because there's so many of them. And I thought one of the characters, the one that Thomas Jane plays, he's a military veteran. He's suffering from a traumatic stress, I guess being that he was in the military and so on, and he's actually involved in Afghanistan, wars in Afghanistan. So I think he's suffering from that, because his character, he has these stutters and stuff, so his kind of stood out to a certain extent, and a lot of the other characters, they're all supposed to be military bred, so it seems kind of similar to the original Predator, because you have all these military type guys together, but at the same time it still doesn't meet that level, but it still can be kind of entertaining, But I think their chemistry I thought was pretty good, whenever the guys are talking and so on and everything, I think their chemistry is pretty good, I thought, and of course, the protagonist of the film is Boyd Holbrook. He plays Quinn McKenna, and he's actually the father of the boy known as Rory. Rory is the boy who actually signals who manages to bring the predators to Earth. So he's actually the father of that boy, and apparently, he's an armored ranger, because the film does open with him having a sniping mission where he actually has to snipe this guy and kill him, and that's when the predators first shows up. And somehow he managed, I don't know how this happens, that's why it can be kind of confusing. He somehow has the masked son to his son, and that's how his son actually triggers the predators to come to Earth, because they actually came to Earth, it's another reason why they came, but I'm not going to touch on it. But the predators themselves, when they show up, they do look cool, the action scenes of the film are awesome, the stuff they do and everything is cool. Just kind of other Predator movies are, but now they're bringing Predator dogs, I think that's what they call them, Predator dolls or something like that. These dog looking Predators, they even have the hair how the Predators have, that. They even have it braided I know it's not really hair, if I'm not mistaken. They actually have that too as well. They even have green blood too as well. But some of the dolls are not, I'm not going to touch on it because they're spoiled, so I just leave it at that. But they do bring in this one Predator, this huge Predator. I forget what they call it tonight, because a new Predator. He's real huge. He's much larger than the regular Predators, because I remember at one point they actually make a reference that this Predator is actually 10 feet, He did look cool, and he has the same abilities, and so he's just a much larger Predator. So I thought that was kind of awesome, the look of him was cool, But overall, I thought the film, everybody like actors and actresses, they play their roles pretty well, you know. You also have Olivia Munn as Casey Brackett, and she's like a science teacher and biologist who actually somehow joins the crew, you know, who are trying to fight the predators. Because at one point she's actually with Sterling K. Brown's character, you know, but then she actually joins with like the guys, you know, led by boys, you know, and they actually have to take out the predators and face them and so on, you know. I also thought Jacob Tremblay, I thought he was okay in the role of Rory, like the boy, you know. They had like some little funny moments with him wearing the actual Predator mask, you know, doing like Halloween, because it's like Halloween, so I thought moments like that was kind of funny. And there's like a lot of humor in this film too as well, you know. Because at times I feel like they are trying to make it kind of like very close to like the first one, you know. But it still doesn't really like succeed, you know. You also have Jake Busey in the film too as Sean Keyes, and he's actually the son of Peter Keyes. I think that was the guy that was in Predator 2. If I'm not mistaken, he plays the son of that particular character. And Shane Black himself, he also is in the film too as well. And he was actually in the original Predator. Actually, Shane Black played one of the characters in the original Predator. He played Hawkins, you know. How could you forget that character, you know? So it's kind of interesting. He's actually directing this one too as well, you know. But overall, this film does manage to, it has like a nice pace to it, but overall it still doesn't really take off, you know. And it is like pretty entertaining, you know. I really want to give it like a good rating, you know. But it was certain things of the film I thought was kind of like a letdown, you know, like how could they let this get away, you know, some of the flaws and stuff they had there, you know, was just like too much, you know, and it can be very cheesy at times too as well. But overall, I thought this was like I said, the chemistry between all the actors and actresses I thought was well done. The action scenes were awesome, you know, it does have humor, but it is still stuff that was just like out of place and it was like cheesy too at times. But overall, in the end, the Predator, but one of the big things I like about it is how it makes references to like the original Predator film. You know, I think that's cool how it's staying in continuity with like the other Predator films. You know, I think that's awesome. You know, how they're keeping that there. You know, because you can see they're actually hyping in return for like other characters in the series. But I don't know if that ever going to happen. You know. But overall, I'm giving the Predator, I want to give this a B-, but I'm aiming at giving this just a C. And I definitely recommend it for like fans like the Predator series, you know, because this is still like one of my favorite films to the original Predator, you know, because this right here is the Ultimate Hunter edition I have. But I would definitely recommend it for fans of those films, you know. So yeah, I'm giving the Predator, I'm giving this a C. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.